Welcome back to the channel. I'm Sam and I do videos every week on minimalism, simple living, and just realistic ways that I can implement that in my life. I am still figuring all of this out. I probably will be for the rest of my life. So if you're into practical minimalism and simple living, or just watching me try to figure out life, then I'd love to have you along for the ride, and please subscribe. Doing a low buy, no buy year is a lot more challenging than I thought it was ever gonna be. At the beginning of this year, I posted a video about how I was gonna be doing a low buy / no buy challenge in 2024. And as we've gotten through the first month, we just finished up January, I'm realizing that doing a no buy year challenge is a lot more difficult than I ever thought it was gonna be. So I've been doing a bunch of research and trying to gather all the tips and tricks and try to find ways to get through this no buy year successfully. These are tips that worked really well for me that I'm trying to implement and utilize in my own life, and hopefully they'll be helpful for you too. So feel free to take one, take two, take them all. I personally do not have the best relationship with finances and spending. That's a big part of why I'm doing this no buy year challenge, not only to save money and work towards getting out of debt, save towards some goals that my husband and I have, but I really want to have a positive, healthy relationship with finances, with my money, with spending, because apparently I am an emotional spender, and that is a way that I would relieve stress or deal with emotions, was spend money and buy things and try to cope with whatever negative emotions or stress was going on in my life by buying stuff. I felt like the things that I had or the things that I bought would determine my self-worth or what people thought of me or give me this status, and none of that was true. Whenever I had a bad or stressful day, I used retail therapy and was looking for that quick fix, the dopamine hit, like literally within an hour or two, sometimes less, of spending that money and buying that stuff, I would regret it or even feel worse. So maybe you felt some of those things, maybe you've dealt with some of that, or you just want to get out of debt or save some money or work towards some goals. Whatever the reason is, hopefully these tips can provide a lot of value for you like they have for me. And let me know in the comments if you're also doing a low buy or no buy year, or if you're curious to know more about it, or if you have any tips or tricks. I definitely need all the help I can get for this year. I have my work cut out for me. So if you have any tips or any information that you think would be helpful for this low buy, no buy year in 2024 for me, then definitely let me know in the comments. So let's get into these 15 habits for a successful low buy year. So tip number 1 is remove yourself from the situation. While there is so much marketing and all this craziness coming at us 24/7 with the digital age, there are some silver linings, and that's that we can really filter down our notifications. We can unsubscribe from things that we don't want to get, or things that make us want to buy, or trigger those impulses to shop. You may not be able to completely escape ads. Trust me, I know they're literally everywhere anytime you open your laptop or your phone, but being able to limit the amount of things that we see that are tempting us or just causing us to spend that extra money. So for me, it's unfollowing a lot of the influencers that I follow, some of the brands and accounts. There are definitely some accounts that, like, whenever I get the notifications about the sale or seeing all the TikToks or reels about all this amazing, beautiful home decor, you just want to go a little crazy on Amazon. So I've had to unsubscribe from a lot of that, unfollow a lot of those accounts, because I just found that was causing me, number 1, to want to shop more, but also number 2, to kind of have this discontentment with my home and my things and the items that I already have, which are really great, and I have everything I need and more than enough. It doesn't have to be forever. Maybe in the future I will be able to have a better mindset and have those better boundaries, but for now I've just learned that with myself it is really not good to have those in front of me constantly, causing that temptation and causing me to want to shop. Another way I'm trying to remove myself from the situation is like physically not being in that situation, not going to those stores where when you go to the stores, you end up with a lot more things in your cart than were on your list. For me, it's Target. I think for a lot of us, it's Target. Sorry for the grunting noises. My filming assistant, Bruce, is here, and he's a little needy today. So if you hear weird grunting in the background, now you know why, right? I know not everybody struggles with this, but for me, being in those stores like Target, TJ Maxx, Home Goods, where like everything is just really pretty and there's a bunch of stuff in there I feel like buying, I've just found that not being in those, sorry, you can hear Bruce walking on the floor. I found that just not going into those stores in the first place really helped. If there are items that I need, I can go somewhere else. Not going to those stores where I have that extra temptation and just keeping myself away from them. Again, not forever. I will probably be able to go back in the future, but at least for now, in this beginning where I'm really trying to break those bad habits and work on that mindset, staying out of those stores is definitely gonna help. Tip number 2 is to set a budget and revisit it often. This is probably a really obvious one for most people. For me, the big thing was setting, like, I know it's important to set a budget, but I feel like there's been so many times in my life where I've set a budget and like, I'll check it out for a couple weeks, but then I just kind of forget about it and I don't regularly check it and I don't regularly stick to it. So for me, I know something that is going to be really important is having that budget that my husband and I put together very intentionally this year and revisiting that budget often as you need to. For me personally, right now, I need to check it out daily. I just spend like a few minutes every morning checking it, updating it, seeing where things are at. Eventually I may be able to check it a little bit less, maybe like once a week. But for now, for me, daily is how often I'm going in and revisiting it. Number 3 is to take inventory of what you already have. So that way before you go shopping, whether it's for clothes or food or things for your home, whatever it is, you already know exactly what you have, and that way you know what you need and you're not getting extras or duplicates or things that aren't on the list. In the past, I have gone shopping without a list way too often, and whenever I do that, things end up in my cart and then on the receipt that were not supposed to be there. I would just grab clothes that I thought were cute, or candles when I already had 25 other candles that I still hadn't used yet, home decor that I didn't need, or even duplicates of pieces of clothing or spices or groceries, like things that we already had, but because I didn't know what I had or what I actually needed, I bought way too much. And speaking of closets, that takes us to tip number 4, which is to shop your closet first. I know for me personally, constantly seeing fashion vloggers and all these cute outfit ideas and all this stuff on social media all the time can sometimes make me want to buy a lot of clothes. One of the tips that I saw in some similar videos to this was to go ahead and shop your closet first. Get really creative with the pieces that you already have and try to create some of those looks or ideas that you like with pieces that you own. Try styling those pieces a different way or even wear them in a completely new way that you've never thought of before. For me, I have a like style inspiration Pinterest, Pinterest board, and I have all the different outfit ideas and styles on there, and I try to pick ones that have pieces kind of similar to things that I own already, so that in the morning, if I don't know what I want to wear, I'm able to look at those different ideas on Pinterest, get inspired, and then create really similar outfits with the pieces that I own. I've also gotten some great ideas from the closet declutter video that I had. A few people in the comments were giving suggestions for how to style certain pieces or what pieces to pair together, which is really cool too. So I've been trying that out. Try pairing that shirt or sweater with a pair of pants you've never worn it with before. Maybe you're gonna love it. Try styling that sweater different and finding a way to make it cropped or wear it backwards. There's a sweater that I have and I wear it backwards sometimes because it's a V-neck and I actually usually like the crew, the crew neck, where it's like a roundish thing. I like that better, and so I wear this sweater backwards all the time so that it looks more like a crew neck. People probably can tell I'm wearing the sweater backwards, but whatever. I'll do it sometimes and it feels like a totally different piece. I had a reason for every piece of clothing that I've bought and brought into my closet, and so I'm trying to remind myself of those reasons of why I got it, why I loved it in the first place, and finding a new way to love it and wear it. Number 5 is to decorate your home with things that you already have. If you're like me, you can sometimes feel like your home is a little you know, especially when you're seeing all these really beautiful homes on social media and everything is so beautiful and new and matches and it's all curated and it's just, oh, literally a Pinterest board come to life. Try to get creative with moving furniture around or using decor pieces from your living room in your bedroom or vice versa. For example, I recently took down Christmas decorations. Yes, I know I'm very late to the party. We went over that in the video. I like keeping my Christmas decorations up until like the end of January. And this corner behind me is where the Christmas tree was. And when I took it down, it was really dark and empty and bare, and I really didn't like the way it looked. So I'm attempting to, without buying anything new, I just moved a fake tree that I had over on the other side of the living room over here, put some lights on it to make this corner a little less dark and sad. Just used what I already had. Haven't decided if I like it long term, but for now, I'm gonna keep it. Now, I do wanna say there's definitely no shame in not liking some of the things that you have. We may have a lot of pieces and furniture and decor in our home that we don't like, don't love, doesn't feel like it matches or flows well, or doesn't feel like us. And that's okay. It's okay to not love everything that you have and to eventually want to invest in something that feels more like you. But for me, I'm trying to make sure that if I do bring things into my home, it's intentional, it's within the budget, and there is a reason behind it, and it's not just an impulse buy, it's something I've really thought through. Next is always have a list and stick to that list. I know I kind of already talked about that a little bit. For me, this has been a big one. I don't know about you, but when I go to Target or Costco without a game plan, oh my gosh, the budget gets blown every time. A bunch of stuff that I don't need, that I didn't even plan on getting until I got to the store, ends up in my cart when I don't have a list and I don't stick to that plan. Even if we're just going to a store for like necessities or groceries, things that we've already budgeted for, things that are already on the list, if I'm not really intentional about sticking to that list, chips, candy, ice cream, emergency pizza, as we call it, like that stuff just like all of a sudden shows up in the cart. So for my husband and I, we have had to hold each other accountable. So if there is ever a time where I'm going to a store like Target, if there is something that I actually need at that store that's on the list, I bring my husband with me and I tell him, don't let me get anything that is not on this list. So a big thing that has helped us is planning before we actually go to the store. Going through our cabinets, through our fridge, knowing what we have, what is already here, and then what we actually do need to get, and putting that all together. Having a plan ahead of time is a huge help. And also constantly keeping our budget in mind. So using our inventory, using our budget, and making sure our list fits within both of those. I feel like I hear a lot of people talk about this next tip, but wait 24 hours before making those big purchases or purchases that you don't necessarily need. If you can wait longer than 24 hours, even better. Maybe waiting up to a couple of days or even a week. This is a really big one I've noticed for myself. Really taking time to step back, sleep on it, think it through. I guess kind of going back to that first one of removing myself from the situation a little bit to see, is this something I actually need? Is this an impulse buy? Thinking about things like, how much time did I have to spend to earn the money for this? Is this thing worth the 5 hours of my life that I had to spend to earn to pay for it? Taking time, chilling a little bit, and not just putting it in the cart and hitting buy right away has been really helpful for me. Mindset, mindset, mindset. Yes, I know I said it 3 times because it's just that important. This has been probably the biggest thing for me working on this no buy year and making sure that I am in the right headspace. Having a positive mindset about my money and my things, and having a positive relationship with finances and spending is really important. And the majority of my life, I have not had a good mindset or good relationship around money or finances or spending. A lot of my life, my mindset about finances and spending has been from a place of scarcity instead of having an abundance mindset. I've noticed a lot of my thoughts, emotions, and actions when it comes to spending and finances operate out of that place of scarcity and fear. and making decisions based on fear usually does not work out well for me. If you're operating with that negative or scarcity mentality and mindset, you're just going to continue to see challenges and roadblocks and issues. You're going to tell yourself that you can't do it, you can't afford it, you're not enough, you don't have enough. And I found for me, trying to change that narrative and change that mindset, rephrase my thoughts, even have it like say it out loud. I know I sound weird sometimes because I'm talking out loud to myself, but really catching myself in those negative scarcity mindsets when those thoughts occur, stopping and rephrasing it in a positive way. I still have a lot of work to do on changing my attitude, my relationship with money and finances. But one of the books that's been most impactful for me is Happy Money. If you haven't read it, oh my goodness, like it really changed the way that I view money and finances and the emotions around it, and even just my mindset around happiness and joy and having enough and contentment. Like it's a good read. It goes deep. So I'll link it below for you. It's just in my Amazon book list if you want to check out that and a few other books that have been really impactful for me. You don't have to buy it from Amazon or anybody else. We're talking about a low buy year after all. Get it from the library or get it on the free Libby app so you can listen to a free audio version of it. I rented the version I read. I rented a copy from the library and it was amazing. I rented it again. I've read it multiple times. It's that good. For me, it's been a lot about taking responsibility of my finances, my mindset. I've just been kind of scared in the past years about personal finance and spending money because I just felt like I didn't understand it, and I kind of put myself in the victim role a little bit. And so realizing that I absolutely have the ability and the power to change that, but I need to take control and accountability first. Okay, that was a very long tangent. In summary, mindset is so important. Focus on the positive, the joy. I'm working on focusing what I do have, not what I don't have in this no buy year. That's something I wanted to kind of shift, as well as not operating from a scarcity mindset, but an abundance mindset. I don't need to buy a lot of these things because I have everything that I need, and focusing on the positive and the opportunities, not the negative and the challenges. Okay, next is use up what you have. This is definitely going to be a big one for me this year, because part of what I talked about in my no buy video is that a lot of the things that I'm allowed to buy or purchase, I can only buy once I run out. So like groceries, spices, toiletries, like skincare, makeup, deodorant, I can only buy it once I use up what I already have. A big one for me is gonna be using up all the candles that I have. I have had a bit of a candle problem in the past. Me and Bath and Body Works, we were close for a very long time. So I have plenty of candles. Rather than continuing this ridiculous surplus of candles that I have, I'm going through and using them all. I cannot buy another single candle until I've used up everything I currently have. I realized there are so many duplicates that I have in so many different versions because I wanted a different flavor or a different scent or a different color or things like that. And so it's been actually kind of cool. It feels like gamifying it a little bit. Like it feels like a challenge trying to use up all the different types of shampoo or the different skincare stuff or all the different candles. My husband and I have also tried to do this a lot more with our food, our pantry, our fridge, using up the food that we have before we go grocery shopping. And that's something I really want to work on, is reducing our food waste, using up the food we have, using the food before it goes bad, limiting our waste. And for those of you who are rule breakers, I get it, I've been there. Sometimes I don't want to listen to myself or my past advice or commitments or whatever I said I was going to do, because that was last month, Sam. Maybe just try it for 3 months, a month. Just set a time limit that seems realistic for you and try to use up as much as you can without buying more in that one specific category for that 1 to 3 month period. And then afterward, if you still really want to buy more before it's gone, go for it. Or maybe you'll find that, hey, using stuff up is kind of cool and you want to keep going past that 3 month period. Next is have questions somewhere on your phone, written down in a notebook, on your laptop, on a sticky note on your fridge, wherever you decide to write it down, but have questions somewhere that you can look at to ask yourself before you make a purchase. So come up with questions that are going to make sense for you based on what's important to you or what criteria you might have before buying something. For example, a few of the questions I ask myself before I buy something that's not absolutely necessary would be, number one, where exactly in my home is this item going to go? I am trying to be more minimal and more intentional with the items that I do bring into my home. I wanna make sure I know exactly where that item is gonna go, make sure there's room for it, make sure it makes sense in that place. Because sometimes you're at Target. Okay, yes, I feel like I'm ragging on Target a lot. It's just because I feel like that's the most relatable and everybody knows the Target vibe, you know? But sometimes you're at Target and there's a really cute stool or vase or fake tree or chair. That's, can you tell I'm speaking from experience? And you just put it in the cart and buy it and then you bring it home and then you realize you didn't actually think any of that through and it doesn't fit or there's no room for it in your home or it doesn't make sense and then you have to take it back and it's a whole thing. So can you tell I've done that once or twice? Number two, for the questions that I ask myself is, what is the function or the purpose of this item? And it doesn't always have to be super incredibly practical. Again, make these questions fit your life. For me, it might just be bringing joy into my life or making me happy or something like that, like buying $3 flowers at Trader Joe's. There's not always an incredibly practical reason that's needed behind it. If it's within the budget and it fits, buying the $3 flowers just because they brighten up the home, they last for 2 weeks and they bring so much joy every time I get to look at them, that can be good enough sometimes. Third is, do I really need this item in my life right now at this moment, or can it wait? Can it wait the 24 hours or the 1 week, or can it wait even longer and I can use something else I already have instead? The next habit is, if you do end up buying something and it doesn't work out, or for whatever reason you decide that you do want to return it, don't let the fear or inconvenience or shame or whatever comes up that gets in your way, don't let those barriers stop you from returning the item. Another very recent example from my life is I bought these fleece-lined leggings. I got influenced and I impulse purchased those on Amazon and they looked really weird, they were not comfortable, and I realized I already had leggings that would kind of work for that purpose. Anyways, I decided that I needed to go ahead and return those on Amazon. And even though it's cold, and even though it's supposed to rain every single day this week, I went and I did the Whole Foods, Amazon, return, drop off thing. And having to do that return, I kind of felt a lot of not great things. I was really disappointed in myself that I did that impulse purchase not even a few weeks into the no buy year, that I not wasted the money because you get it back when you return it, but that I had done that anyways, that I let myself be influenced, that I had impulse purchased instead of waiting and seeing if there was something else that I already owned that worked. Anyways, hard lesson, learned from it and used it to kind of help me make some of those questions I'm now gonna ask myself before I buy something. There have been a lot of times in the past where I let those barriers stop me from returning something and I missed the return window, or I just kept it and so I completely lost out on that money. I didn't get that money back. It just sat cluttering up my home. Don't let those barriers or that fear or whatever is going on stop you from making that return. And if the return window has passed, or if there isn't a way to get back that money, then just try to learn from it like I did. I took this as a valuable learning lesson, and don't beat yourself up too much. Have some grace, but use it to make changes moving forward. All right, the next tip is to make it quick. And I'm talking about these trips to the store. I don't know about you, but the longer I'm in the store, the more that winds up in my cart. And so trying to make trips to the store a little bit quicker, a little more efficient has really helped. If it helps, set a timer on your phone. I've done that a couple of times and it actually really helped me get in and get out pretty quick. I know a lot of times the stores are set up in a way that they purposefully make you walk past the cute stuff that's easy to spend money on to actually get to the groceries or the cleaning products or whatever you're there for, but trying to keep those trips quick and not spend too much time in there has been really, really helpful for me. Another bonus thing that my husband and I have tried doing is here in DC, it's a pretty walkable city, so we do own a car, but a lot of times when we go to the grocery store, it's just a 10-minute walk down the road. So we'll just walk to the grocery store, and that really limits how much we can get because I don't work out that much. I'm not that strong. And so I can only carry like 2 of those reusable totes, and they can't be too heavy. So it really limits the amount of things that we can purchase at the store. Number 13 is to be critical of your favorite stores. Really be aware of what you're thinking and feeling as you're walking through those stores. I know I keep using Target, just stick with me. I know it's hard to find fault with Target and Joanna Gaines, and everything is so pretty in Target. But as you're walking through, if you see things that you like or that you want to buy or that are tempting you or whatever comes up, try to look at it a little bit more critically. It's hard. I know there's a lot of excitement, especially in beautiful stores, but really try to be aware of what you're thinking and feeling as you're walking through there. Sometimes I know for me, being critical doesn't work. So instead, maybe try appreciating it, but realizing that just because it's something beautiful or it's a great candle or it's a beautiful fake plant or a really, really cute mug, that you can appreciate it, but that doesn't mean that you need it. Appreciate it in the store. And if you get inspired, even take a picture. There's things like walking through IKEA, walking through Target. There are some really cool ideas or inspiration that I can get from there that I want to try to create with the things I already have at home, or a feeling of a room or something like that. So I'll take a picture of that inspiration and then come home and find a way to recreate that like style or feeling with things that I already have. You know yourself better than anyone. You know your threshold for if you can look at cute stuff without buying it. So just kind of like go off of your threshold and what you know you can handle. Okay, we're almost there, I promise. We're on to number 14, which is never settle. This obviously applies to so much more than just material things. For the sake of this video, we're not going to get into all that. We're just talking about material things. When it comes to purchasing items, be patient, set a budget, save up for something that you truly want, that's going to be high quality, that can last. We work really hard for the money that we have. Think about how hard you had to work, all the stuff you had to go through, the hours that you had to put in to earn that money. And you don't want to settle and spend it on something maybe cheaper or of lesser quality than the item that you truly want. Again, you know yourself best. And so weighing the pros and cons of saving money, being more frugal, buying something less expensive, and saving up and purchasing the item that is more expensive, that is of higher quality, you know yourself best and like kind of how to weigh those two. An example for me is, sorry, there is a siren going off in the distance. Hopefully you can't hear it. If you can, sorry. But my husband and I moved from Arizona here to Washington, DC, and we didn't bring our couch with us. Number one is we fell into the trap of settling. We settled and we bought a really cheap, poorly made couch online, and it was so uncomfortable. It kind of started falling apart right away, and we never used it. It literally just became Bruce's couch. Bruce just sat on that couch. He loved it, but my husband and I did not. And so we spent all that money on a couch that we didn't like and didn't use. And that felt like such a waste. Like I still kick myself about that. So because of that, we have learned our lesson, and we are saving up and going to invest in a really good quality couch when we can afford it in the future, hopefully sometime this year. But we really want to invest in a couch that's super comfy, that we love, that we can't wait to actually use. And we want to make sure that it's something that can last a long time and that we will use for years to come. And the 15th and final tip, we finally made it to the last one, is to celebrate your wins. Always celebrate the small things. Celebrate every month that you stick to your budget. Celebrate every store trip where you don't buy something that's not on your list. Celebrate when you fix an item and keep using it instead of just getting rid of it and going out and buying a replacement. I think that's so important to stay inspired and motivated and excited about the challenge. Find ways that work for you, that just get you excited, that you can use to celebrate those moments where you have those little successes or big successes. And even if there are months where you don't stick to your budget or trips where things end up in your cart that you were not supposed to buy, don't be too hard on yourself, give yourself grace, but use those opportunities to learn. Take a step back, analyze what happened, what was going through your mind, what was the situation where it caused that result. Try to learn from that and use that moving forward. Progress, not perfection. Hopefully this info has been helpful, and feel free to save this video to go back and visit during the year if you need a reminder or some motivation or something like that. I am definitely gonna need some reminders and motivation throughout this year. If you found any of these 15 tips helpful, or if you have any other tips or tricks of your own, definitely let me know in the comments. I have a lot to learn on this, do I wanna say the word journey, on this year and trying this out. I know I still have a long ways to go. So any advice, any tips that you have, any encouragement, definitely let me know, and feel free to subscribe and like this video. Keep coming back for more content on minimalism and simple living every week. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.